Hi, everyone. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, is this in view? Not gonna work. Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, just waiting for a few more to log on. Oh,
If I turn my video off, I'm away from the camera. That's probably the best way to do it
okay.
for me.
Okay, I think this is all we're going to be getting for now. So I will call the meeting to order. It is 6:58, and let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. And it is 6:59. Let's go into roll call. Carmen Rodriguez, absent. Kimberly Edwards, absent. Oliver Augustin, Present. Sebastian Bianchine.
Here.
Okay. Ronnie Adas.
Present.
George DeYoung. Absent. Kenneth Eskandari. Absent. Here it is. Nathan Earl.
Present.
Uh, Jessica Holzer.
Present.
Melissa Matthews. Absent. Caleb Ortiz Diaz.
Present.
Marcy Lynn Teague.
Present.
Angelina Wilson.
Present.
And I already got notification earlier that Robin Wilson and Lisa Kelman could not make it to tonight's meeting. Okay, so let me mark down. Okay, so we have quorum. It is 7:02. And let's jump into presentation of and acceptance of the minutes. So did everyone get a chance to review both the February and the April minutes?
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone have any corrections, any fixes to the minutes?
No.
Okay, hearing none, I would like to make a motion first to accept the February minutes.
Second.
Jessica seconded. Seeing as that there weren't any questions or comments for before, I would like to move to vote to accept the February minutes. So everyone in favor of accepting the February minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Hearing none, it is unanimous.
Oliver, can I abstain? I'm still looking it over.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'll abstain.
Mark you down. Okay. Okay, so the motion passes. It is 7:04. I'd like to make a motion to accept the April minutes.
Move to accept the April minutes.
Any questions, comments, or issues with the April minutes? Hearing none, I'd like to move this to a vote. So for everyone in favor of accepting the March meeting minutes, please say aye.
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 Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? All right, and the vote passes. It is 7:05. Let's move on to the agenda review. So just a light one. So the only thing we have under new business is the sponsorship request, and we will be going through the committee reports to see what progress has been made over the last month. It is 7:06. So now let's move on to the financial report. Marcy Lynn, what do you have for us?
Sorry about that. I could I went down. I couldn't find you for a minute. Um, so I have one piece of paper I was waiting for to finish the bank account. That's pretty good. And I started looking at some of the things that are going on. You might be able to get funding through Yard or through community. And I wanted to, as soon as I get a chance, to email it to you guys to look over things that we don't have to be a nonprofit for, things that the city of it offer us that could help our kids, including um, I have the survey that we used before, so I know that was mentioned. But for finances, we really just need to come up with some type of a fundraiser, even if it's just um, double good, just something. If we had mentioned going to the restaurants and having a day where the restaurant would give us 10%. And I talked to IHOP. IHOP is pretty much easy to do, the one in Hamden. So I just wanted to put that up front for fundraising. But our account will have $10 in it.
To here, which IHOP did you
The
visit
one in Hamden.
in Hamden?
Yeah, in Hamden. Hamden.
Okay, so
Marcy Lynn, thank you for that work. Did we think about other restaurants maybe that are particularly served by youth? Or like I guess I'm thinking like near schools and stuff like that in the city of New Haven as well.
I could think of, I know they really, really like Taco Bell. And I was thinking about that. But didn't they move that one that was downtown?
Yeah, but isn't
I
there
looked at
downtown?
Yeah, they have a community service department for Taco Bell. So that's not really hard to get in touch with.
Yeah,
But many of them, if we want to run all of them, it just,
yeah.
we run each one a different time.
Well, maybe we
So
could make that sort of, since technically the commission takes a summer break, that could be something we think about as each commissioner takes a task of building, like of connecting with, say, 5 restaurants or something like that over the summer.
mhm.
To see about doing it, we could come up with a form letter or something like that to see if we can get a collection.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sounds good. That's where I'm at.
is the goal sort of just any amount of money? Do we have a sense of what amount of money we'd like to get?
Well, if we're gonna do the surveys, we're gonna have the time before the kids go back to school to get to them.
Yeah.
So that would be an opportunity for us as a commission to do the tenting at the events and get some answers from the kids that are at the events, specifically like Unity and Community and all the events that all the events downtown with Arts and Ideas. They give it. They'll get. I'm sure they'll allow us to do what we need to do if we want. A couple of us want to schedule to walk around to do those surveys during Arts and Ideas. It would be ideal. I know.
Question is, from a survey design standpoint, are the youth we're hoping to hear from going to be at those events?
Most of the ones at Golf Street when they have the basketball tournament and they have
Okay, yeah.
Unity and Community and they have I mean even the Gospel Fest, the kids come out, you know.
Yeah, okay.
So we have to remember that. And then each one of the areas in New Haven, I know they started those already. That's important too because then we have the Fair Haven and the Beaver Hills and
Fairhaven already happened though.
yeah, I know we miss Fair Haven, but Dixwell is an extension of that to me. They support each other, so at least the Alders do.
Okay.
That's where I'm
is
at.
that okay? So that's everything for the financial report.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move
Yeah.
on to the next section. It is 7:11. So Finance Committee.
I need someone to help me. Once we get up and running and start helping, we need a second person on the account. So we have to figure out who that's going to be.
Okay. So what day and time do you need that second person to be at the
I
bank?
was thinking along the lines of Tuesday, anytime between, I do right along. They open at 10. So maybe a 10 to 2 window. And if they're an evening person, then it would have to be like a 4 to when the bank closes 6. On a Thursday. I'd say on a Thursday it would probably be better if it's 4 to 6.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm available on both Tuesday and Thursday now, so
All right, so we could do Thursday. I think that'd probably be a better time
okay.
for me. I'll be downtown anyway, so that works out.
So what time in particular?
Let's see. I am thinking along the line. My last run is at 2:40. I don't have to be to my mom till 4. So maybe about 3.
3 p.m. Thursday?
Yeah, because I'll be coming from Sylvan Avenue, so it'd be easy. 3 p.m. Thursday, Bank of America downtown.
Okay, let me put that into my calendar. Bank of America on the green.
Yes. All right, I gotta get off camera for a second. I'm sorry.
Okay, got it. Okay, so it is 7:13. Let's move on to Research Committee. So, Angelina, what do you have for us? Oh, did she drop out of the call? Okay. And I see Kimberly Edwards has arrived. Uh, okay, so I'll give Angelina some time to log back in. So we'll jump to the next section. Outreach. Okay, so Lisa told me she couldn't make it to tonight's meeting and she didn't have a report for me. And last committee is membership, and Angelina said that she would be able to recite Robin's report.
I think Angelina got bumped out, Oliver, but Kim Kim did you see that Kim in the chat? Kim Edwards is-
Yes. Yeah, I just marked her present on the attendance sheet.
Great.
Date. Where's my
Do you want me to read what Judge Wilson sent over?
If you would.
Let me find the email. There we go. No, that's Freddie Fixer email. Hold on one second. Okay. So, from Judge Wilson, she's saying, and I think this was sent in an email to many, but membership committee she does not have anything to report on membership. She extends a warm welcome to our newest member, Ron Benoit, who was recommended by the New Haven Republican Town Committee Chair, John Carlson. She also makes an ask that any commissioners who would like to recommend individuals for the commission, please to forward names to her and contact information as well. And to keep in mind that city ordinance requires the committee to be, the commission to be balanced in terms of party. And so that means that we are short of Republicans and independents on the commission. So no further Democrats, I believe, can be nominated unless another Democrat leaves the commission at this stage. So if you know of individuals who are registered independents or Republicans who are involved in youth, I'm sort of adding that on to it. So that's her update on the membership committee that I have.
How many open seats do we have on the commission?
On the website, we have it looks like we have 2 vacancies.
You know when the last time they updated that, and does it include your new people? Because they're trying to get better with updating it, but if it's not updated, I can ask Mr. Gouchnet what he has on paper downtown. Let me know.
Oh no, that's it's up to date. Yeah, so Alex has been pretty good at keeping the website for us up to date. So yeah, we have 2 vacancies and both Kenneth and Nathan are already listed on here, so they're good to go.
Nice.
What do you- Sorry, I got kicked out to meet and come back to Angelina.
Glad to see you're back. Okay, so it is 7:19. So we'll double back to your report for the research committee.
Yes, one moment. Okay, yes, the research committee, one of the missions was to help identify resources and services within New Haven, greater New Haven area. So I started to compile a resource list of support services that our youth, families, and communities will be able to utilize. I am in each of our spare time, we can review the list and also reach out to me via email if you know of other services, community services that are typically at no cost or low cost to our youth communities and families. So far, I know that we have Youth Guide, which highlights programming, City of New Haven, but I also wanted to kind of get a step further, a resource guide tackling areas of support that families may need, such whether it be housing, programming, even mentorship. And the hopes is that we can put together this some
Oh,
Angelina, it looks like you're cutting in and out.
hear me.
Barely. You are very
Hello?
choppy. Yes, you have a very choppy connection. Oh. So she might be having internet issues. Okay, so let's give her a moment to log back in.
Hello? Can anyone hear me?
Yep. Now we can.
Okay, I see anyone. I don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi. Okay, I think I left off with the to help the and youth communities and identify where the resources are, to encourage collaboration, also to encourage and allow families to keep dignity as well. Sometimes resources may be needed. Family member or youth member may not open to ask for assistance. So I'm hoping that this will be able to add an additional support.
Okay. You said you were working on a list of the resource
Yes,
programs that were
share
available.
it out. Yes,
Uh,
I did share it out. It was around 6. It should be attached
oh, I see
to
it. Okay, so
my
it's an attachment. It's not in text. Okay, I see it.
so I am asking, like if we're aware of programs that are available, to send them to me via email so that we can compile on the list. And that completes my report. Are there questions or comments?
Yeah, so Angelina, thank you for bringing the idea. Are you thinking, so I'm aware of, for instance, United Ways 211, which I think overlaps with things like housing. I
Yes.
don't know that it meets all of the stuff that you're talking about, but to what degree do you think you're going to use existing resources versus try to build something new?
So all of these resources should be existing, but more to bring awareness
Okay.
to what's available there. My thought process is that we create something that families and youth can have on hand. It can be in like school systems, and like the main office can go out, via the link, in case of a crisis, there's something that they can refer to. And 211 is always a resource, but I also thought that we could even provide additional information about programs that may not be listed in 211, as long as we know that they're vetted and they're good community programs.
So what were you thinking in terms of bringing awareness, like putting this information on a website or some kind of flyer campaign?
Yeah, so what I'm thinking is it can be housed, of course, on the City of New Haven Youth and Youth Services website, possibly pamphlets in schools. And I know that usually it's like a blast that goes out via text so that parents can have access to that as well.
I have just a comment. It's Nathan. Thank you again for the report. Have you considered collaborative opportunities? I know 211, but other youth advocacy organizations who may already have a pretty comprehensive list. Are there collaborative opportunities where we may partner with those? So 211, HEART. HEART is the child trafficking prevention continuum across New Haven and Connecticut, to perhaps co-develop a comprehensive list, a cost share if we wanted to pamphlet that. I don't know if you thought that's a consideration either.
Yes, it has been. It's listed as one of the purposes of creating this list is to also encourage collaboration, not only for families to be able to utilize youth and community members, but also those who are providing resources. At this time when funding is impacting a lot of organizations, they may not have the capacity, but maybe they can refer to someone else, and having something hands-on where they can probably make a quick phone call or send an email. And again, empowering our families and our youth with that information on hand so that, they too can reach out on their family's behalf as well. But yes, indeed, collaboration is one of the focal points. So that is something that I can, as far as a task, reach out to 211, as you said. Did you say HEART Association?
HEART is the child trafficking continuum of care, and there are others. May I email you a list? I think that was included in your ask. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe we can follow up.
you.
Yeah,
Yes, that would be wonderful. And I'm open to working on this with any commissioners who would, help with the task.
I'm in for that, and I actually wanted to mention, along with the organizations that you're going to get from 211, every year the station that I'm on, New Haven Independent, WNHH, has the Great Give. The Great Give has all the organizations that you could possibly think of, over 300. So we could start with that. So just look up our Great Give that we have every year. And you'll find so many organizations. They even have organizations that are giving kids, coding for free and things like that. So we need to get all the organizations that are in our Great Give to help us.
Yes, thank you. I think there's a hand up. I'm not sure whose hand.
That was me.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. That is a great starting point to make sure that I was just starting with the ones I know at hand, but I know that there are so many that are within our community, and that's, I think, something that we have to do a better job at. A lot of organizations and resources may be operating like in silos and doing great work. So, just bringing awareness to what resources are available in the community.
Okay, so I think that sums up everything for the research committee report. So let's review old business.
I don't know, in losing services, I did have Judge Wilson's report. She asked that I share it.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Although oh yeah, Jessica, you already summarized Robin's report, right?
Yeah, it's the membership committee, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the other point in her email, which was about the sponsorship letter.
Oh yeah, so we'll be discussing the sponsorship letter under new business, so we can save that for then.
I did want to bring up to the membership committee point actually though, since you the question was about the website, I noticed that a high percentage of commissioners have their end date marked as July 1st, 2025. So just a month and a half from now. Are all the commissioners aware of that? One, and then
Yes.
two, sort of taking steps to extend and be reappointed.
Yes,
I was gonna, yeah, you were saying?
I'm working, I know I need to get my information in for reappointment. So I know I'm one of the commissioners on the list. So I'm working on that. I'm not sure if you have a list of those who are up for reappointment. And then,
Yep.
okay.
I
Do you
have
want
it
me to
buried here in
name
the email
names,
somewhere.
or do you it's, I mean, it's public information, it's up on
Yeah.
the
Right.
youth website, but does anyone want an update on their timeline?
We can cover that on under old business. So
Okay.
let's jump over. Okay, so 7:32. So last month, where is it? Here we go. So last month, Kenneth introduced himself. And he explained how he has a background in teaching as well as with data science and finance. Regarding the secretary appointment, I skipped it because we had voted to appoint Eskandari as the secretary. And then for the reappointment, the commissioner reappointments, Robin Wilson, she reported that she got the email and was in the middle of filing out the paperwork. I had resubmitted over, yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago. So the sooner the better. Because I think in order for the reappointment to go through, your name has to be put on the agenda for the Aldermanic Affairs Committee. And just as Jessica mentioned before, it's up on the website. So I might as well just recite it just for record's sake.
I have it
So
here too if you want, Oliver, if it's easier to.
oh, okay. Yeah, just forward forward a copy of it to me, because I think it's just buried in the emails again.
Yeah. You want a copy of the list of current people and timing?
Yes.
Sure.
That way I can over the weekend I can send some emails to anyone that hasn't already mentioned that they're going to be reapplying.
Okay.
If you have the list in front of you, is my date July or is it?
Yeah, so everybody except for the Alder representatives it shifts on July 1st. Judge Robin Wilson, the current term ends July 1st of 2025. George DeYoung, the current term ends of 2025. Oliver's current term ends 2025. And Angelina, yours ends July 1st, 2025. And then Lisa McDowell Kelman's also ends 2025. Among our youth, Sebastian and Rania both also have an end date of July 1st, 2025, as does Caleb, actually, because I missed one. We still have Angelo Sevilla on the list, even though the end date for that person is listed as 2024, and I don't think they've ever attended that I'm aware of.
Ah, okay, I remember that one because I've spoken with yeah, I've spoken with both Alex and Erica, and I think the issue is that unless they get an affirmative response from Angelo, they can't really remove him, which I've always thought was strange. You'd think that you think that the moment the term expires, that would just be the end of it, but whatever.
Right.
Okay, it is 5:35, 7:35. And let's move on to new business. Here we go. So this will be a discussion about the sponsorship request. Did everyone get a chance to review the letter?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So let's just open it up to the floor. So does anyone have any questions or comments about the sponsorship letter?
I do.
I do as well.
And it might be a question and an ask all combined into one. So you all just shut me down. So I don't take up too much time. I don't know did anyone reach out regarding the sponsorship letter yet?
No.
Okay. And the only reason I ask is we often get sponsorship letters like on our Black and Hispanic Caucus side of the house, like that when there's events, because it's mostly like fundraising, and sometimes they're asking for like small donations. So I was going to suggest someone reach out to see if they're looking for volunteers or if they think you're an entity that has money to donate. If you all don't have time to do it, let me know and I can put that on my thing to do this week. Just let me know, after discussion. Or
I'm
if
sorry.
someone else has a better idea.
I misunderstood. So you mean actually a human being reaching out to another human being?
You mean
That's
me?
what no, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
asking.
me being a human being, I can reach out to the other human beings that sent it. If you all want me to.
Exactly.
I don't have to, but I just know that's what we typically do. And I don't know if they're looking for volunteers because we have the same letter that we received as alders.
Mhm.
I know what we do on our end. So if you wanted me to reach out for clarification, I could. But if you have someone else that wants to do that, have at it. Just let me know if you need me.
May I ask, this is the sponsorship letter that came from Super John Williamson from Youth Empowerment Initiative?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. I believe that Judge Wilson, because it came to her, I think that she was also going to reach out. Can I suggest that I ask her to follow up with you to find out how to move forward so that we're both, so that a couple of entities aren't reaching out to them. I think that some of her questions, she did put it in her email, whether they're seeking donations from the commission or whether they're asking commissioners to give money. And possibly it could be from like years past when at one time we had funds to give out to organizations. So I do know that she said she was seeking clarification.
Oh, thank you then. That's perfect for me. I was just
Mhm.
volunteering in case no one was. Thank you, Miss Wilson.
You're welcome. I don't know if you want to do it on the Alder side as well, because you said you received the same letter also.
Well, we already are doing what we're doing with them.
Okay.
But thank you.
And Oliver, hey, everybody, this is Nathan. I haven't had a chance to meet everybody. It's my first meeting tonight, but I look forward to everything. It's nice to be here. I think my only questions is all I have was the sponsorship letter and just typical due diligence questions that we'd ask anyone around financial transparency. What's the budget? Where does the money go? What percentage of the money that they're asking for goes to, I hear making the legacy live for Super John Williamson. How much of the money actually goes to empowering youth or within the scope of our mission? Safety and risk management, and then strategic fit and long-term value. It's a form that I've used in the past. There's 15 questions, and would we be able to send this list of questions or to you folks who are reaching out to them personally to answer some of these questions and then bring it back to the membership for a vote once we have all of the information? Just the due diligence, typical due diligence.
Yes, that I think that would be up to Chair Oliver. But I think that's a good point to help lead us in getting those answers.
Well, let's just make it even. Let's see, like when we reach out to this organization, let's see if they're willing to come to the next meeting and actually give a presentation where they answer some of these questions and let us know more about what they do. Because at first glance it almost seemed like it was almost like a phishing email. But now that I'm hearing that other people have gotten similar copies, that they're already familiar with this organization, I think it would be a good thing for them to come before the youth commission and just give an introduction to themselves.
Is that something that you would extend the invitation to?
Sure.
Okay, and I might I add that we still have that form completed so that we have in writing what the ask is and that we're all on the same page. And I think the next question is, do we even have a budget? Do we even have money to
Yeah.
We have
Give up.
$10.
Okay.
Give it away. We have to have it in the bank account to keep the bank account open.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not like we
That
can.
makes it easy if we don't have the money.
So I think that
Oliver, don't stand me up now.
I think that is something that we have to decide if we're gonna share with them at this time. It's not in the budget, but I think the question came up, like, are they looking for volunteers? We could support in other ways. How are they looking for us to show up?
Yes, because that would be a bit more feasible considering where we are right now.
Also, Oliver, is there a tabling opportunity? And I'm not sure how where you are with the research or the surveys, but might this be an opportunity to collect some data from youth voices and community voices?
Oh, so like setting up a card table?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. A table to market the commission, solicit feedback from the target, our youth and families. Let folks know who we are, what we're doing, but also some type of a survey where we can start capturing some data from. And I think, Jessica, you alluded to this earlier, this would probably be some of the key groups that we would be wanting to hear from. When I looked at their website from the previous event, there's an article on this previously, but it appears to be from community youth. So the voices may be really valuable to the survey.
I mean, and I think that also, I know I certainly work better to a deadline. And I know we've been having conversations about meeting the obligation to have a report. And I highly doubt we'll have a report by the end of our quote unquote calendar year since we started talking about it. But I still think that if we can target getting a survey in the field, even just a needs assessment survey, even just baseline, right? As a way of attending, because this is June 28th. So that would be pretty quick turnaround. It gets back to the conversation we were having about standardized instruments, so existing surveys rather than one we build ourselves. And now that my semester is over as of today, I have a little more time that I can dedicate to looking around for existing instruments that would allow us to, hopefully we could roll something out that's probably pretty good, like the behavioral risk factor, the youth behavioral risk factor survey, and others that are standardized instruments, and also that have, because I think we really do want to be careful. And this may be an area where we as commissioners want to think a little bit about it, is linguistically appropriate, right? So Spanish language, but maybe also other translations. I don't know, other than Spanish, if Creole's a big language locally. That this is where I'm sort of not as deep as I could be, but thinking about what our language might be in terms of how we might want translations to be in the field.
I think just starting out, if this is going to be if we're looking for a quick turnaround on this survey, I think just keeping this first one in English, so that way we have a baseline, we have some practice under our skin in terms of setting up a survey and sending it out, going through the results and actually presenting it. And then once we're finished with this, then we can start to look at dealing with additional languages.
My one reason why I would push back on that is because of the distribution in New Haven of a third is African American Black, a third is Hispanic, and a third is white. I would be very concerned to leave out the third that might be English speaking primarily, especially at the level we're talking about. I think we could leverage, and this may be an area for us to think about partnerships. Yale has researchers in the field who are bilingual. It doesn't have to be the case that we have to supply it as the youth commission, and that's certainly something that I'm willing to work on to see if I can build some relationships. And if we have the imprimatur of the youth commission, we probably could find some people who would be interested. I also don't know if there are people on here who are fluent in Spanish and would be willing to sort of take the lead on a translation or interpretation. Once, this is why I really do like, I'm going to go hard on existing validated surveys. This is like I guess it's the hill I'm going to die on. But it's really important to do that so that you're actually capturing what you think you're capturing, as opposed to questions that seem like they make a lot of sense, but just aren't capturing that, especially from a youth population. I mean, you know, skibbity toilet and all that's going around. I don't know. So I want to, I do think that I'd be very hesitant, given the youth that we represent in New Haven, to not take the opportunity right now to roll out a bilingual survey. And I think it's doable. I don't think it's as much work as it feels like when we think like we have to do it. There are existing surveys in Spanish that are validated in Spanish and have been used with similar populations. So I don't think it's so much more work than English, as long as we can have somebody on the receiving end who can work with translation and interpretation.
I agree 100% just from an equity framework. And we're looking at the credibility of our work and the impact. I think to not, to just have the English language, I think is, I don't know. I don't think it's rooted in equity. But also when we're looking at the data, right? I mean, when we're just collecting with the English language, is the data going to be skewed as far as what are the true needs of the community when we're not capturing the voices of a third of the community that we serve, or the youth that we serve? I think it's just, I wholeheartedly agree that that's so important.
Well, as long as you're willing to, you said tap some of the Yale researchers, or at least how many bilingual volunteers do you think you would need?
It's going to be highly dependent on how many events we attend, and also on the nature of the survey. So if the survey is a pretty straightforward self-take survey, someone with fairly basic Spanish language skills would be able to introduce somebody like, here's a survey, could you take the survey, that sort of thing. Versus on the receiving end, somebody would need to be a more sophisticated interpreter for anything that's an open-ended question, where someone could have answered, in Spanish language sentences and those sorts of things. but I'd say at least one per event, right? So you have a person who, has asked, speak to me about youth in New Haven written in Spanish. You can tell that I'm not bilingual in Spanish to that level. I can find the toilet. That's about it. But that would be something that, might be enough. And I think we could get people. I think we could get people. And I think this would also be an opportunity to our partnerships conversation of identifying people who are interested in this, who don't have to be youth commission or don't have to be commissioners, who can
Yeah.
nevertheless be pulled in to help with stuff like this.
And could we not partner? You may be saying the same thing, but partnering with other existing community providers that are engaging
I'm
directly
thinking
with.
CARE at Southern. So Alicia Santilli is, I don't know if she's still there actually, but CARE used to be with Yale, is now at Southern. And I can't remember what the whole acronym stands for, but the C is community, right? And so they run community surveys in New Haven. I worked with them when I was a postdoc a decade ago. And so they would be my first outreach, honestly, because they might already be, frankly, they may be running surveys, right? I don't even know. And we may face people who are, guarding their turf, but I think for the most part, we can probably build some relationships. So CARE comes to mind as my top. I don't know if the New Haven Family Alliance is still active. I know Barbara has retired, but that would be another place to think about it, because again, they're sort of widespread. They have families, so youth is a component of it, and bilingual. And then maybe
Fairhaven Health.
honestly, what's that?
Fairhaven Health.
I was thinking Fairhaven. I was thinking Alders in Fairhaven.
Yeah.
Right, like thinking of people who are already affiliated with leadership at the university. That's my day job. Leadership at the city level, and so maybe connected to individuals who are involved. I can ask around and get some names.
Okay, so
Are you affiliated with? I'm sorry, Albert.
just to I guess just to try to get back to the original scope. So the idea is that if once the what is it, the Super Johnson organization, if they do their introduction and if they have any upcoming events, then the idea is that we would set up possibly like a card table, and then at those events try running the survey.
Mhm.
So just trying to keep the scope in mind
Yeah.
with what we're trying to do.
Yep.
Okay.
And I think we just brand it Youth Commission Needs Assessment Survey or something like that. I think a needs assessment makes a lot of sense to me, since we're starting from a place of feeling, and I think this could align nicely with Angelina's idea, excuse me. Like to think about what are the gaps in terms of information. If everybody's aware of 211, that's not new information, but are there other things that are less familiar to people? It could overlap nicely with sort of where gaps in your knowledge or where gaps in your sort of resource coverage.
What do you mean by needs assessment survey? So
Yeah. So a needs assessment survey asks, it's designed to identify needs. So sorry to make it a totally circular explanation. So in public health, before we do program planning, what we do is we start with an assessment at the community level of sort of what do we have already? What's missing? Is the thing missing? Do we not have people doing gun violence prevention in New Haven, right? Or is the issue that the people doing gun violence prevention and the people experiencing gun violence aren't connected to one another? Or is it that they're connected, but there's not enough of them, right? So there's many different ways that there could be a hole, right? We've talked, I think many of us are familiar with the holes in the system, but the nature of the hole is very specific. And so we don't want to make assumptions about the nature of the hole that end up being wrong to throw resources at the wrong thing. So a needs assessment is about trying to identify those things. And I can bring, probably take a day to find some different proposals so that we as a commission can choose would we rather do a needs assessment that's really driven by a goal of sort of rolling out programming or rolling out a resources guide? Or are we more interested in something like estimating the total amount of alcohol use, the total amount of cigarette use, the total amount of sexual practices, right? More of the sort of behaviors. We can make some choices about that that would determine the types of questions that would go into our survey.
Okay. So regarding the proposals, since you say that you have like a little bit of time now that the semester is out, you wouldn't have a problem emailing like one of each proposal and then giving the commission the next 30 days to review, ask questions in the email chat.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get it so that we have 30 days between now and our next meeting. I probably will need at least a week
At
to
least
sit with it, pull information. I might be able to do it in as little as a day, but that's assuming that no one else comes and tries to take my time. So I can
that's
certainly work
fine.
on that. I can aim to have it to us by next Thursday in an email so that everyone would have a minimum of 2 weeks to sort of sit with it and make a choice. Now I'm a little, I don't know if we could make a June 28th deadline with a June 15th meeting or a June 21st meeting. If we're the
Yeah, that's going to be
third.
pushing it.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm stuck between two things. I don't want to sort of force it down anyone's throat. I want it to be a democratic, little d democratic approach. But I think we need to decide, are we trying to make it to, you know, this particular deadline, or what is our timeline that we're looking to do?
Might I suggest that we have the survey very general, more focused on the needs assessment. Because I think that once we identify what the needs are, then we could kind of like, I think like you said, we could have different types of surveys. So once we identify the needs, we can identify the resources, and then we could send out another survey to find out, you know, like what's happening in the community, whether it's, you know, drug and alcohol use. So now we have this resource guide where now we can kind of lead individuals too. So if the needs assessment survey is what is only for, even if it's simply just for the sake of us to identify the resources that are needed in the community so that it can lead us to the next step. I agree with all of the commissioners. And one, we have this community partner seeking out assistance from us or seeking out partnership with us. So we don't want to miss that opportunity. And for even more, this is our opportunity to have a face in the community and kind of connect with youth members. And these are the target individuals that we want to serve. I don't know, maybe if that's doable, you know, just a general survey to kind of like identify what the needs are. Because I think, like, you know, based on what the needs are, a lot of times because the resources aren't there, that may be leading to the behavior. So if we can engage them in other ways, then, you know, not saying it's the be all fix all, but, you know, then we expose them to other opportunities. And I don't know, like how my mom said, an idle mind is a devil's playground. So if we keep them informed about what they can do other than drugs, alcohol, violence, then possibly, you know, it can be part of the solution.
Okay. Okay, so let's keep this from going on any further. So at least going back to the original subject for the sponsorship, we'll be looking to reach out to the organization. We'll see if we can offer volunteer services in lieu of the payment. And I think, yeah, everyone had a chance to speak, to bring up their questions or comments, right?
Yes, and reaching out, we're going to send out the document or questionnaire that we spoke about. And
Oh
then
yeah,
you'll,
the 15 questions for financial due diligence.
The due diligence, yeah, I'll send that over.
So let's move on. It is 8 o'clock. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Anyone second?
Second.
Okay, so now let's everyone go to the voice vote. If everyone's interested in adjourning the meeting, please say aye.
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 Anyone oppose? Anyone abstain? Hearing none, meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Oliver.
Thanks everyone for
Oliver.
coming out.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yep.
Good night.
Have a good one, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, thank you. This Wi-Fi is horrible.
Well, that was fun.
I'm glad you have fun.
Your meetings are fun.